There is off topic, and then there is Jim Jordan. Hello everybody, David Shuster here. It has been a while since we've done a video on Ohio Republican Jim. I knew nothing about Ohio State Wrestling sex abuse Jordan. Compared to other MAGA lawmakers, Jordan has been flying under the radar, but not anymore. Headline, Jim Jordan hijacks health hearing to rant about FBI spying at January 6th riot. Yep, the House Judiciary Committee had a hearing on the FACE Act, a law that protects access to abortion and pregnancy care clinics. But Jordan went off and alleged the FBI spied on Americans who stormed the Capitol on January the 6th.
We find out that there were 26 confidential human sources here in the Capitol, at the Capitol. Well, some of them came in the Capitol. 26 of them on January 6th. 17 went in the restricted area, 4 went in the Capitol, zero were arrested. And remember, confidential human source is a fancy name for spy. Spying on Americans.
Spying, surveillance, whatever you want to call it, what Jordan did not mention in his rant is that the FBI activities occurred during the Trump administration. Remember that? One of the fallacies in MAGA logic about January 6th and the claims that Democrats did it or set it up to make Trump supporters look bad is that a Republican president, Donald Trump, a Republican administration, was still in power. Donald Trump still had oversight of every agency in the U.S. government, including the FBI and the Department of Justice.
All this stuff happened. So thank the good Lord, we had a change in this administration back on November 5th. I want to thank the chairman for his tireless work on advocating for the sanctity of life and looking at this law.
Again, the law the committee hearing was focused on is about access to abortion clinics and pregnancy care. But for Jordan, it was an excuse to keep recycling his wild claims about January 6th. And what's even more amazing about Jordan doing this now is that an independent watchdog investigator recently filed a report obliterating the MAGA conspiracies.
Well, a new report from an independent investigation finds zero evidence that federal agents were involved in inciting the January 6th insurrection. The report undercutting now years of baseless claims spread by far-right political figures attempting to tie the FBI and the deadly attack.
It's no secret, we've covered in court proceedings, that there were confidential informants for the FBI on the ground among the crowd. But this report kind of sheds light on why that was the case. And what we've learned in terms of numbers is there was only 26 confidential human sources among the crowd that were in Washington that day. Now, 3 of those who actually entered the Capitol, this report found, were actually assigned by a field office with tracking a specific domestic terrorism suspect in a case that the FBI was pursuing at the time. There were a total of 4 of those informants who allegedly entered the Capitol. But this report also makes clear that not a single paid undercover FBI employee was present in D.C. on January 6th, not just at the riot, but at any of the protests that were planned that day.
Not a single paid FBI agent or employee was at the January 6th march or riot. Just some informants, including 4 tracking a terror suspect. Unfortunately, these facts are inconvenient for a lot of MAGA conservatives and their cheerleaders on conservative media. So MAGA echo chamber stenographers, including Jesse Waters and Fox News, are simply ignoring the facts, suspending reality, and promoting their own right-wing fantasy land. And in that fantasy land, there is hardly any difference between informants and actual FBI agents.
The FBI didn't have undercover agents at January 6th. They had confidential human sources. So what's the difference? Well, a confidential human source doesn't get health insurance or a pension. They're just freelancing for the feds. Rats in MAGA hats. They're basically paid informants that the FBI runs out of headquarters. A lot of these FBI rats get picked up on some other charge. They get sat down and the FBI says, you're going to work for me now. And if you don't, you're looking at 20 years to life. So these guys say, yes, sir. And they cozy up to people like the Proud Boys and anyone the feds wants to watch and control from the inside. And these confidential human sources are under pressure to deliver. What does deliver mean? It means intelligence and big busts that get the FBI good headlines.
Creating a storm and making wild headlines. Jesse Waters has entered the proverbial people who live in glass houses should not throw stones. Waters has frequently promoted nonsense to get attention. In this case, Waters knows almost nothing about how the FBI operates or what the informants were actually doing on January the 6th. But to him, it is still fine to promote the wild right-wing claim that the FBI, at the behest of Democrats, created January 6th. That has been disproven repeatedly. But Jesse Waters, Jim Jordan, and others cannot let it go. So they moved the goalposts. It wasn't actual FBI agents, it was FBI informants. And let's disregard the fact that at any large gathering or protest involving hate groups, including neo-Nazis and white nationalists, we have long demanded the FBI collect intelligence and track these subversive threats. Only this time, on January the 6th, the neo-Nazis and white nationalists were supporting Donald Trump. And in the mind of MAGA world, Donald Trump can do no wrong, and therefore his supporters can do no wrong. The circular logic is absurd, but so it goes on the right wing. And now, even hearings about access to health care are a platform to promote right-wing revisionist history. It is pathetic, and it is sad. By the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican from Georgia, recently got confronted about a GOP campaign promise, and MTG flipped out.
See, yeah, this is your political agenda. You know what? We don't care.
That's Donald Trump. That's Donald Trump's mailing.
Indeed, Marjorie Taylor Greene just tossed a Trump campaign mailer that promised to protect Social Security and Medicare.
That's Donald Trump's mailing.
Right here is for Democrat ads to attack Republicans.
So it's really simple. It's really simple.
No, it's
Will
not
you
simple.
pledge
No, you're a
to take
liar.
Social Security and Medicare cuts
here.
off the
You
table?
and this guy right here, look, you're lying.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.